All right, hopefully you had some success on adding in some event handlers for the other two checkboxes and adding in some properties to track whether or not they are checked. So in this video, we're going to go over a quick solution. Now, just so you know, as I start to write out this code, if I name a variable slightly different than you do, that is totally fine. Just remember that in the future, we're going to have to refer to some of these different variables when we actually generate our password. So just make sure that as we start to generate that password, you use whatever variable names you used if you end up using different names than I do. Okay, so let's get to it. I'm going to flip back over to my editor. I'm going to first get started in my app component HTML file. I'm going to find the other two input elements inside of here that are of type checkbox. So on each of these, I'm going to add on an event handler using the event binding syntax. I'll first find use numbers. So on that one, I'll add in the parentheses to say that I want to watch for a change event. And then anytime we change that input, I'm going to call on change use numbers. Again, that method does not yet exist. We're going to have to define it in just a moment. Let's first take care of use symbols as well down here. So I'll find the input type checkbox. On that one, I'll add in change. And we'll put in on change use symbols. Okay, so let's go back over to our component class. We're going to implement both of these methods. So here's the component class. Right underneath on change use letters, we will also add in on change use numbers and on change use symbols. Now we need to make sure that we add in some additional properties to keep track of whether or not we want to use numbers or symbols. So next to all the other properties we've defined so far, I'm going to also define include numbers, and I'll initialize it to false. I will also include or add in include symbols, which also gets started off as false. So then inside of the respective handlers right here and right here, we can update the value of those properties. So we'll say this dot include numbers is not, so exclamation, this dot include numbers. Then the same thing down here for use symbols as well. So this dot include symbols is not this dot include symbols. And that's it. Now to test this out, let's just try adding in some additional console logs to our on button click function. So inside of on button click, I'll find the console log. I'm going to replace what we have inside there right now with a template string. So remember, a template string in JavaScript uses the backtick characters. That is the character to the left of the 1 on your keyboard. I'm making a backtick string here, or a template string, so I can make it a multi-line string. And inside there, I'll just put out some messages that say exactly how we are generating this password. We'll say about to generate a password with the following. And then after that, I will print out this dot include letters. How about we say something just to make it a little bit more clear? We'll say like includes letters, and we'll print out either the true or false. And I'll repeat that for the other two properties as well. So includes numbers, going to be this dot include numbers, and includes symbols, this dot includes symbols. And I think I've got a typo right there. I've got an extra S on includes. Okay, so that looks good. Let's now save this and we'll do a quick test. So I'll flip back over. I'm going to try clicking generate right away, and I'll see a message that says that we're going to try to generate a password without letters, numbers, or symbols. If I then start to check some of these different checkboxes and click generate again, I'll see that I properly updated numbers, so now numbers is true. If I add in symbols, I get symbols and numbers is true. Now I can add in letters as well, and I get all three as true. All right, so that is looking pretty good. So now all we really have to do is add in the ability to track the length that the user enters, and then we can use all this data, whether or not to include these three different things, along with the number of characters to actually generate our password and throw it into that input. So we're actually pretty close here. Let's take a pause and continue implementing this in the next video.